Good morning, Unity. Look at all these beautiful faces. All right, it is time to turn your iPhones off and your iAms on, and I'm not forgetting about you Android users. You can turn those off too. And if you got any weird third-party phones that I don't know exist, turn those off too. All right. What's that? Yeah, any Motorola Razrs, turn those off too. Any old Nokias? All right. Let's go ahead and get on our feet and start by singing some songs, beginning with Good Morning Unity. Good morning, Unity. Welcome to Harmony. Come through those open doors. This church is yours. This is where we learn and grow. Find the things we really know. Look inside to find the way. Start a brand new day. Good morning, Unity. Welcome to Harmony. Come through those open doors. This church is yours. Good morning, everyone. You're shining like the sun. Glad I made it here in time. This church is mine. This church is mine. This church is mine. All right. Get ready to sing your heart out on this one. Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. You sound good. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to stand on that bridge. Love is my decision. No one else can make me forgive. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. Love is my decision. It's it's up to me to dance down the road. Love is my decision. No one else can lighten my load. And once I decide to change my mind, God will show me how. Love is my decision right here and now. My decision right here and now. Y'all sound great today. Nice and loud. Thank you. One more song. I think y'all know this one. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me who am I am wisdom, I am light, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. If you ask me what am I am beauty, I am joy, I am more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I can choose to be the light that brightens someone's darkest night. I'm so much more than meets the eye, I cannot be defined. I am the thinker who thinks the thought that changes things that shape my life. I am the thinker who thinks the thought I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life. I have the power to change my life.
Thank you, Ari, and thank you, Matt. And good morning, Unity in the Seven Hills. I missed you all last week. It was the wedding of my middle son and my new daughter-in-law. They'd been together for 12 years. Both families felt this should have happened years ago, but both families followed a key spiritual principle: restraint of tongue, pen, and email. Very, very important thoughts. Let's start out by blessing the Unity candle with that great affirmation. There is only one presence and one power in the universe and in my life: God, the good, omnipotent. Hannibal Lecter, I can't believe I just said that. Anthony Hopkins. And actually, Queen Elizabeth knighted him, so Rick, it's Sir Anthony to you, fella. Sir Anthony Hopkins, he's not, and he play, we know him as Hannibal Lecter, but also Richard the Lionhearted, a lot of Shakespearean roles and all that. Anthony Hopkins is now 85 years old, but for 47 of those 85 years, he has been clean and sober. And Anthony Hopkins says, today is the tomorrow you were so worried about yesterday. Today is the tomorrow you were so worried about yesterday. Just keep in there. Just keep fighting. Be bold and mighty forces will come to your aid. Amen. When we can remember one presence, one power, when we can remember that God is in our side, on our side, when we can remember that we were born blessed and remain blessed, and that we are truly one with the one, and that that divine spark inside of us, that eternal life, is who we truly are. Not our fears, not our error thoughts, not our worries, not of, oh my God, the mistake I made in 1995. All that is, sometimes we can think, oh my God, there's a blot on my copybook which can never be erased. And when we can realize that that one presence and one power has already erased it. God said to Isaiah, I will make you as clean as new snow. I will make you as clean as new snow. And realize, well, yeah, that applies to everybody else, doesn't apply to him. When we realize that it applies to, I remember one time, something I did, and a friend came up to me and says, well, don't you believe that God has forgiven you for that? And what I thought, I didn't say this out loud. I had the smarts not to say this out loud, but what I thought was, well, yeah, God forgave me. God forgives everybody of everything, but I have much higher standards. When I can realize that nonsense, and that the beauty of that oneness with God applies to us, to all of us, then whatever the crisis du jour is that we are going through, we have a new power to get through this positively, and to know that that one presence and one power is on our side. We're going to be doing so many, again, small congregation, small but mighty. We're going to be doing something really wonderful today. We're going to be dedicating the refrigerator. We're going to be with our partners, Food Not Bombs, and we're just delighted for that. And we're also delighted. We have several people. One, we're so honored and will be part of the dedication is Reverend Carl is with us. Reverend Carl, could you come on up and pray us in? So glad to have you here, brother.
Good to be here, Reverend. Thank you so much. I told Adam, who came with me.
Out there on YouTube.
Okay. Hi, YouTube. But I did tell Adam that if that same kind of welcoming spirit were throughout our community, we would have a much, much better community, that we would grow and learn to appreciate each other's graces, and each other's goodness, and each other's love for each other. I'm delighted to be here, Reverend Wick, and I'm going to, if you don't mind, offer a brief word of prayer. God, we pray this day that you would continue to bless us and keep us. We thank you for the fellowship that we share. We thank you for the joy that you give us. We thank you for the hope that we have in you. Continue to bless us and keep us, I pray. In your name, amen.
Thank you so much, Reverend Carl. Thank you. We're also, we're glad for everybody, but another person we're really glad to see here is Billy. What? And he's going to be back soon playing the harmonica. As a matter of fact, I want to do a message where I'm talking and Billy's playing the harmonica. It will work out really well. So each week we go through one of the 5 unity principles, and today we are on, one of the ones that really meant so much to me, that third principle, that our thoughts are prayers and we are always praying. Our thoughts, our prayers take charge of what you're saying. If you needed one bumper sticker for New Thought, it would be change your thinking and you change your life. The reason this was so powerful to me, I came from a family of negative thinkers. My God, I didn't live through World War II. I didn't live through the Great Depression. But our family was really hit by the Great Depression, as I guess many families were. I didn't live through it, but I got to tell you, I heard so many stories. I feel like I had lived through it. And it was the thought of anything good happening, it's going to be taken away. You know, if something good happens to you, this too shall pass. You know, very much, I call it the Eeyore syndrome. You know, Winnie the Pooh, Eeyore, the old gray donkey, thank you for noticing me. You know, and that negativity, I mean, there really is something to that law of mind action. A thought in mind produces after its kind. The law of attraction. That if we're sitting in negativity, guess what we are probably going to be attracting to ourselves? You know, and so to come into unity, to have that sense of our thoughts really matter. And you should every once in a while check, Rick, what during the course of the day, are you feeding yourself just more of this negative garbage? I mean, Eckhart Tolle said that so much of our thoughts are just repetitive. And if we really listened to them, we'd be embarrassed by them, you know, and that we can, you know, we can start changing that by changing our thinking and opening up to the, you know, different possibilities. So that power of thought, I mean, the last book that Charles Fillmore wrote, in 1948, his last book that was Charles Fillmore, the co-founder of the Unity Movement, was called The Atom-Smashing Power of Mind. I highly recommend it. It's wonderful. The Atom-Smashing Power of Mind, you know, nuclear energy had just come out and all that. And he said there's something even more powerful than nuclear energy. It's your thoughts. It's your thoughts and your prayers. Really, honestly, truly do matter. Jesus, so often when he healed people, he didn't say to them and look at them and say, look how wonderful I am, I just healed you. He said, your faith has healed you. Your faith has healed you. And to the point of, he said in certain towns where he was, I mean, Nazareth, he went back to his home village. A prophet is without honor in his own town. And he said, I can't do anything here. The people do not believe. So our thoughts so truly, honestly do matter. And it is so important for us to do like a check on what's going through our heads. Is it the negative stuff that normally, or do we see different possibilities? So let's say that principle to each other. Thoughts have creative power to determine events and attract experiences. They honestly, really, honestly, truly do. And you know what? A lot of times the outside world may not change, but we've changed. And when we change, it really, in one sense, doesn't matter what the outside world does. But the irony is, a lot of times when we change, doors which seemed closed all of a sudden start to open. And we start to see those changes in the outside world. We are so fortunate to have Crystal here doing a wonderful YFM program. And so let's bless the kids. Let's say it together. You are a perfect child of God, and God and I love you just the way you are. Here you are.
All right, let's get on our feet. We're about to sing This Bright Light of Mine. Before we do, Rick's going to be speaking about denials and affirmations, so I thought, what a great Sunday to add in the second verse. So hide it under a bushel, no. I'm going to let it shine for the second verse, all right? All right. This bright light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This bright light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine. Hide it under a bushel, no, I'm gonna let it shine, oh, let it shine, let it shine, let it shine.
be seated. Let's affirm our mission statement together. Unity in the Seven Hills is a vibrant, inclusive community that inspires individual spiritual growth through education, prayer, heart connection, and sacred service. And our vision statement, we are an inclusive community centered in spirit. We embrace our divine oneness, power, and purpose. And we truly do. And I've asked my daughter, Robin, who is now down from college, to read the Daily Word. She's going to be, she started actually working as a camper, not as a counselor at Camp Roanoke, and it's going to be interesting. Teresa's going to be going to that camp for part of it, and I'm curious which one of them comes out alive. So having said that, Robin, why don't you come on up?
Good morning. The word of today is grace. With joy and gratitude, I welcome grace. The guiding, healing, harmonizing presence and power of God is everywhere present. Divine grace is mine whenever I say yes to the presence within me. I release any thought that I am unworthy of grace. Nothing I could do or fail to do would ever disturb my divine identity. Grace need not be earned, nor can it be bought. It is inexhaustible. No matter how much comes my way, I can relax in complete trust that even more will be available as I need it. Grace doesn't happen to me. It expresses through me. Just as I have been blessed to receive grace when I have needed it, I am honored to be the conduit through which it flows to someone else, blessing them in the time of need. Yes, everything is for your sake, so that grace as it extends to more and more people may increase thanksgiving to the glory of God. 2 Corinthians 4:15.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. And this is Pride Month, and we have been doing readings on Pride. I've asked Ari to come up and do a reading.
Show my colors. Is this on? Okay. Thank you. You got the Unity logo on there? Isn't that nice? So this is an excerpt from the article Meditation and Pride by J. Michelson. One of the most powerful aspects of meditation is a capacity to stimulate empathy. To share a personal example, when I was growing up, transgender was not a word I knew. I didn't have any notion that people's deeply felt gender identity could be different from their biological sex. So of course I was ignorant. We all were. And when I started to learn about trans people, I had ignorant responses to them. But as time went on, that changed. I became friends with trans people, read books and watched films, and eventually I started to get it. And my meditation practice helped me do that. One time I remember thinking about what it would really be like if my sense of my own gender was at odds with my body. I explored this one time while meditating, trying to imagine that sense of dysphoria and discomfort, what it might feel like in the body, the heart, the mind. I also looked more closely at my own resistance, what was really going on. In the thoughts that arose, I saw closed-mindedness, ignorance, and privilege. I noticed my body tensing up to defend itself. Mostly, I noticed that there was a lot of fear. Conversely, I imagined what it might be like to have that burden lifted, like I'd had my own burden lifted years ago. I was filled with such joy just sitting there, imagining trans or non-binary or gender non-conforming people being able to be themselves in all the infinite variety of human experience. Of course, that was just in my imagination. I experienced much more of that joy seeing it in real life among both friends and people in the media. Developing that empathy has real consequences for justice, especially today when trans people's rights and basic safety are being rolled back by people motivated by fear, opportunism, or ignorance. When we wake up our emotional capacities, we enable ourselves to care more, understand more, and act more justly towards those who are often stigmatized. We become productively intolerant of injustice.
You know, I feel called to say something. A good friend of mine, and a good friend from my Washington days, and I bet you most of you have heard him. He's a lot of times called on as an expert in his field by CNN, by National Public Radio, quoted in the New York Times, Wall Street Journal. He's a professor at a leading university. He said, I want to share something with you, Rick. And they started talking about, he said, you know, some of my features, I won't get graphic or anything, are not different from what you would think a typical man. And I really went to see doctors, and I had the, you know, it was really debate. Do I stay male or do I become female? And then he said, I really decided, just because of a lot of hassles and everything else like that, my professional career and everything, I said, I'm just going to stay, I'll stay a man. I won't go through that change. But that sharing really brought it, you know, because I think sometimes we go through certain things and we think just because this is our experience, it's a universal experience. For example, I've always known I'm a man. I've always, you know, been attracted to women and stuff like that. So you come away with the sense of, well, that's just naturally what it is. I mean, that, you know, everybody, you know your sex, you know you're attracted to thus and so. But to have a good friend who is seen so highly in his field and on television and all that come to me and say, it was really a struggle, and this was it really brought these issues home to me personally. And then made me feel, you know, this is a relatively small minority in our population. And it brought up to me that old, you know, the old saying which came out of Germany in the 1930s. I wasn't a Jew, so I didn't stand up when they took the Jews away. I wasn't a labor leader, so I didn't stand up for the, you know, labor. I wasn't a communist, I didn't. And then when they came for me, there was nobody to stand up. There was nobody to stand up for me. I think these issues are important. And it ties very much into what we're going to be doing in terms of with the refrigerator and all that. The Apostle James, I mean, because a lot of times we think about religion, oh, it's praying, it's this, it's that. The Apostle James said the essence of real religion is this, that you take care of the widow and the orphan, that you take care of those who are marginalized in your society. That's the essence of real religion. And I got to tell you, I feel so proud to be connected to a congregation which has that sense of the Apostle James, of that this is the importance of real religion. If you and to walk the walk, as it says in the Gospels, to be doers of the word. Thank you, Ari. Thank you for that reading. And now here's some special music.
Yeah, I remember that Jesus left the 99 sheep behind to go after the one, because the one was in danger and the 99 were fine. So, as I said today, Rick's going to be talking about denials and affirmations, and I was like, I don't know what in the world to sing for that. There's no songs like denials and affirmations. It doesn't exist. So I was just going to redo this the song Follow the Sun by Xavier Rudd, if anyone knows that one. But I couldn't find the track that I used for it, so I was scrounging to find one, and I think I found one by the great Bobby McFerrin that's got denial and an affirmation, and I think you all know it. So please sing along, especially when we get to the high part, because my throat is not doing wonderful today, so I may need your help with that one. All right. Here's a little song I wrote. You might want to sing it note for note. Don't worry. Be happy. In every life, We have some trouble, but when you worry, you make it double. Don't worry. Be happy. Don't worry, be happy now. I got no place to lay your head. Somebody came and took your bed. Don't worry. Be happy. The landlord said your rent is late. He might have to litigate, but don't worry. Be happy. Ain't got no cash, ain't got no style, ain't got no one to make you smile. Don't worry, be happy. 'Cause when you worry, your face will frown, and that will bring everybody down. Don't worry, be happy. Don't worry, be happy now.
Thank you, Ari and Matt. Wow. Don't worry, be happy. Well, first, I want to thank all of you for being here. I mean, there's so many other things you could be doing, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I remember one good friend, said, will we see you on Sunday? Said, no, this Sunday I'm worshiping at the shrine of the pillow and the blanket. So, I mean, but then, as I was thinking this, and I thought, well, why do people come? Why do you come to Unity in the Seven Hills? It's to get a spiritual uplift, to get your batteries recharged, to get something which is going to uplift you and help you live your life in Central Virginia. And then I started feeling, well, that means, you come here, you expect some profound spiritual truth. You're the minister, you got to provide this profound spiritual truth. So I was sitting there thinking, all right, profound spiritual truth. And I swear to you, the only thing that went through my head were old Alka-Seltzer commercials. Do you remember Speedy Alka-Seltzer? Remember little Speedy? Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. And I'm saying, Rick, spiritual uplift, and you're thinking about old Alka-Seltzer commercial. And then what went through my head was the waiter came up to me and he said, try it, you'll like it. I didn't want to. No, try it, you'll like it. So I tried it. Oh my God, it gave me acid indigestion and reflux and heartburn. I took 2 Alka-Seltzers. I was as good as new in 5 minutes. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it is. Plop, plop, fizz, fizz. Oh, what a relief it. Then something went in my head, said, wait a minute, Rick. You might be on to something. Believe it or not, you might be on to something. Is there something more powerful than Alka-Seltzer that can bring metaphysical relief when those old negative thoughts start going through you? You get, my God, you just found out that they reassessed the value of your property and your tax bill is, oh my God, and you forgot that personal property was going to be due, or you get the medical result that you weren't expecting, or that love relationship what you thought, and it's going south. I mean, when these things come up, or your kids, oh my God, you know exactly what they should be doing, and they're doing exactly the opposite. When these things come up, is there some plop, plop, fizz, fizz? And I thought, you know what? There really is. And it goes back to Unity 101, basic unity, denials and affirmations. Denials and affirmations. And I know most of you, you know about it and everything else like that. The problem is, with most of us, is that we know, and this is Unity fifth principle about it's not just enough to have this stuff be head knowledge. It has to be heart knowledge. It has to be something where the rubber meets the road. When you hit that metaphysical pothole in life, that you start turning to this. And unfortunately, for many of us, a lot of times we know this. I mean, it's stained glass windows, Sunday, we know this. But you're driving down I-81 and it's a 4-mile backup, and somebody cuts you off, and, all these spiritual Unity 101 principles go out the window. So I'd like to talk about this power of denial and affirmations. First off, let us remind ourselves what we mean by denial. I mean, because, in 12-step fellowships, for example, Alcoholics Anonymous or whatever, denial's not a great word. Well, I'm not an alcoholic, I'm not a drug addict, or denial. Or a lot of times, I'll have people, I've had people very close up to me and say, Rick, sounds like you're resentful. I'm not resentful, and it takes me 4 days to realize, you know what, I really am. You don't sound so great. No, I'm absent. Rick, that kind of denial, that's not what we mean by denial. What we mean by denial is denying, the doctor tells you have cancer. Although I would say this, several people in my life have recently gotten second opinions on things. And the second opinions were very different from the first opinion. So I'm a strong believer in going out and getting second opinions and all that. But let's say you've had a second and third opinion and it really is X. It's not denying that I have X. What it is saying, I am not going to let this dominate my life. I am not going to become a professional victim. I am not going to let myself become a professional victim. One of the things which I've been so fortunate at seminary, many people would say that one of the greatest teachers at Unity Institute and Seminary is Reverend Robert Brummett. Many people look at Reverend Robert as sort of being the Yoda of the Unity movement. And I have had the good fortune for the last 3 years or so to be able to do spiritual direction with him. Spiritual direction, pastoral counseling. Pastoral counseling, you're usually going over what is the crisis du jour. Spiritual direction is more what's blocking you off from a deeper relationship with God. So, I felt I really wanted to do this spiritual direction, do it with Reverend Robert. And so I called him, and the part of me is thinking, he's too busy, he's not going to take me on. And I think what happens is a lot of times we think, oh, they're not going to take me on, they're not going to do this, and we don't ask. Again, this seems to be the day of the Apostle James. James says, you have not because you pray not. You have not because you don't, I'm giving you the Long Island translation of the Bible. You have not because you seek not. And we don't, because they're gonna say no. We don't even ask in the first place. Thank God I asked Robert, and Robert said yes, I would love to take you on. And so I've had the good fortune. Reverend Robert recently gave a message, a sermon, with the title of "Get a Life." Get a life. And he talked about the difference between life circumstances and that deeper sense of our lives, our true lives. And he says that all too often we don't even get to the true life. We're just on life circumstances. Before you get on the scale, just whatever the number is, that is not my real essence. That is not, that I'm not going to let the scale define who I am. You go look at what's in your banking account. I am not going to let that number, I'm not going to let that number define who I am. You come up to a political election. I am not going to let this, whichever way this election goes, it's important, but it's not going to define, it's a life circumstance, but it is not going to define who, you know, and who and what I truly am. It is so important to not become a professional victim. And now it's time to play America's favorite quiz show, Martyr of the Meeting. Yes, Martyr of the Meeting. Hubba, hubba. Martyr of the Meeting, where we have our guests come in and they tell us about their rotten childhood and all these other rotten things that have happened to them. And then, Vanna, show them what we do. We measure it on the martyr meter. We measure it on the martyr meter. And the person with the highest points is declared lucky martyr of the meeting. Tom, tell us what today's lucky martyr could win. Right, Bob. Today's lucky martyr could win an all-expense-paid vacation to East Scrub New Jersey. Hubba, hubba. All right, our first contestant is a neurotic from Detroit. Glenn, he comes in and says, oh, yes, I'm married to a wonderful husband sitting right over there. You know, I mean, martyr of the meeting. So often, I think what happens is that we become professional victims. When I was the minister at Unity of Roanoke Valley, I was working with a coach, Karen Stars, wonderful woman, and we were doing, you know, and I said to her, you know, oh my God, this problem, that problem, and money is so tight and all the interesting thing. During the pandemic, Unity of Roanoke Valley stopped tithing. We're too poor to tithe. And guess what happened? It was a reverse, you know, to the point of I was getting calls on my personal cell phone almost every other day. Are you Reverend Rick? Are you the minister of thus and so? Well, do you know you haven't paid your copy bill in the last 4 months? I mean, and so I'm talking to Karen, and you know, money is tight, this is that. And Karen said to me, Rick, it would be so great to be doing one of our sessions when you actually sounded like a New Thought minister. When you actually sounded like a New Thought minister. That was like, you know, a bucket of ice water, you know, on a December day over my head. But you know, it was refreshing. She was absolutely right. And I said, Karen, let's pray right now, and I'm going to lead us in prayer this time. And we sat and prayed. And I got to tell you, my language changed on, you know, succeeding. Yeah, there were difficult situations and all that. But it wasn't my going in with that you know, that negativity, that you know, oh my God, and the sky is falling and everything else like that. Quick story, which I think really does sum up denials. This happened a long time. It was in the early part of this century. You know, up in Fairfax, Unity of Fairfax, and there was a guy there. I'm going to call him John. John founded a hedge fund. He was very wealthy, very successful. Now, my oldest son, Josh, did 2 tours of duty in Iraq. He was injured during his second tour of duty. Taken to Germany. We were going to fly to Germany. He was then flown to Brooke Army Medical, called BAMSI, Brooke Army Medical in San Antonio. I don't know how the government, this was where they took burn victims and people, you know, it was, I don't know how they kept this out of the you know, no pictures of it in the paper. But anyway, we were fortunate in a way. My son was not, he didn't lose an arm, he was not scarred or anything, but he had taken so many IEDs that his mind was, to quote a great Yiddish word, meshugana, you know, he wasn't, when I met him, he had trouble. He could not transfer laundry from the washing machine to, you know, to the dryer. And this was, we had read that this condition, if not treated really forcefully very quickly, can take hold and become a permanent feature of the brain. And the Army's not moving. The Army's not moving and doing what needs to be done. John, who I talked about a hedge fund, said to me, Rick, what's happening with your son? I told him the Army's. He said to me, just go out and find get private doctors, get whatever you need. I said, but John said, look, Rick, I'll pay for it. I will pay. I run a hedge fund, for God's sakes. Just go out and do it. This kind of guy he was. And so anyway, fortunately, we didn't have to do that. Fortunately, Senator Webb, who was then our senator, Senator Webb got interested in this. Senator Webb wrote some letters to the Army, and guess what? The Army moved their buttski very, very quickly, and he got what he wanted, what we needed. So anyway, it's 2008, and we're going through the housing bubble. And John's whole hedge fund business, it looks like it's going in the tank. He's losing everything. He comes to me, he says, I'd like to do some pastoral counseling with you. I said, I haven't been ordained yet. He said, doesn't mind, I want to do with you. So we worked. And it was really interesting seeing the change, because for so long, he had so totally identified himself with life circumstances. Whatever the number on the metaphysical scale was, as it were, and he could see that. And he started to detach from that and deny that who he was and whether he was a success or failure wasn't based on the bottom line of his hedge fund. And when he started to go through that kind of denial, then things started to really happen in his life, to the point of the hedge fund is not where it did not go bankrupt. It's actually come up in the world, not the way it was before the housing crisis, but believe me, he's still a very, very wealthy guy. And I love that all-purpose unity denial thing to be said, and it's this. It goes like this. This, and you fill in the blank. This cannot stop my good from coming to me. When you start going through that sinking feeling, this, and you fill in the blank, this cannot stop my good from coming to me. Now, that's not the end of it. I mean, yes, it's good to get out of professional victimhood. It's good to get out of that. But that's not the end of the process. There are also affirmations. Jesus, there's a wonderful story about Jesus and Legion. Legion was this crazy guy. They would chain him to rocks, and he would break out of the chains, and he was crazy. And Jesus went and was, and again, I don't care whether you take demons literally, metaphysically, or some combination of the two. This is a powerful story, and think of, you can think of demons as sort of negative Jungian archetypes. I don't care how, it's a powerful story. So anyway, Jesus turns to Legion, says, "What's your name?" And Jesus said, "My name's Legion." And Jesus said, "That's an apt name, because we just cast out a legion of demons from you. But let me tell you something. If you don't fill yourself with something positive, those demons are going to go get brother and sister demons, and the next thing you know, you're going to be filled with, there were 7 demons, you're going to have 7 times 7 demons inside of you. You have to fill yourself up with positivity, and sense affirmations, and doing this so strongly with positive affirmations. Eric Butterworth, that great unity teacher, suggests that, there are a ton of affirmations. I mean, there are a ton of written affirmations. You can write your own affirmations. And he suggests a very easy way of doing it. Get a piece of paper. Make 3 columns on the piece of paper. On the column on the left, write down, what's eating your lunch? What is the crisis du jour? What's holding you back? What is this so-called negative thing in your life? And then write in the middle column what you would like. What you would like. And then the third column, change that what you would like into I am statements. I am statements. I am statements are so powerful and so important. As God said to Moses, I am who I am. I am who I am. As Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am the way, the truth, and the light. To be able to go from the problem to what you would like and to change that into positive I am statements, and you will have your affirmations. You will have your affirmations. It's such a wonderful way of you actually constructing those powerful, powerful affirmations. The other things which I have found in this community, in this spiritual community, is many of you are visually oriented. Many of you are visually oriented. So you don't have to do 3 columns. It can be through art. It can be through drawing. It can be through taking old magazines and cutting them out and making vision boards and seeing that and believing that that is the truth which you are truly going for, and you can envision as possible in your life. The other thing which is so important about this denial and affirmations, the old joke, you're in New York City, you say to the taxi cab driver, how do you get to Carnegie Hall? The answer is practice, practice, practice. It is practice, practice, practice. And the hardest thing is actually I find when the rubber meets the road, when you actually hit the pothole, to remember these principles. Once I remember these principles, then writing the 3 columns and pulling out these positive affirmations, becomes relatively easy. Relatively easy. Let me tell you a true story about a woman by the name of Marion West. She lives in Watkinsville, Georgia. Watkinsville is east of Atlanta. And the reason I really love this story, she has rheumatoid arthritis. Now, several people close in my family have had rheumatoid arthritis. It's not a fun, believe me, it's no fun. It's a disease where it seems almost like the body is attacking itself, creating a lot of pain. The reason I find Marion's story so wonderful, it's not that, Marion did denial and affirmations and, like Disney princesses, ho, 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 the rheumatoid arthritis totally disappeared and went away. Whoop, 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 whoop. She starts out this story with rheumatoid arthritis. She ends the story. The rheumatoid arthritis is a little better, but it's not gone away. But she is radically different. She is radically different. So anyway, Marion is facing a situation with the rheumatoid arthritis. It is excruciatingly painful. It's excruciatingly painful. She's not getting up until afternoon, and even then, getting out of bed is difficult. Her life is just shutting down. Everything hurts. Her daughter, Julie, says, you need to do exercise. Oh, God, shush. You need to do exercise. You need to come to my Y and do exercise with me. Try it. You'll like it. So she goes to the Y, Julie's Y, to do yoga. Oh my God, she says, it was the most down dog and dirty or down dog and all the most excruciating thing she's ever done. She hates it. It hurts all over. Thank you, Julie. Goes home, goes back to bed. But then Marion started to remember denial and affirmations. And she said, you know what? I have let this rheumatoid arthritis rule my life. I have become a professional victim. I need to do something. She calls up her Y, which is not Julie's Y, her YMCA, and she finds out that they give water aerobics. And she goes in and she starts denial. I am not going to be a professional victim. My life is not going to be ruled, by rheumatoid arthritis. And, and positive affirmations. Remember Myrtle Fillmore, you're a child of God and therefore do not inherit sickness nor fear. She starts taking water aerobics. and liking it. And it's something that she can do. And there are a lot of other people her age and going through physical problems and all. She starts making friends. She starts making friends. She starts going out with them after water aerobics. Next, she joins something called the Silver Sneakers. The Silver Sneakers are people like her who, and she starts doing some land-based exercise also. She's making friends. The rheumatoid arthritis is a little less than what it was. It's a little less painful, but it hasn't gone away. But she said, I've changed. My mental attitude has changed. I'm becoming positive. I'm into life, and I have a circle of friends, and I'm part of a community. I think the key conclusions from all this boil down to as follows. First, there does exist a metaphysical and spiritual form of Alka-Seltzer, and it's called affirmations and denials. Second, when you are feeling that sinking feeling, remember affirmations and denials. When the rubber meets the road, that fifth unity principle, put this stuff into practice. Third, what we mean by denials is not, if oh my God, denying the situation that you may be in. No, it means getting out of being a professional victim. It means denying that this stuff is going to rule your life. And fourth, just like Jesus with legions, you can create your own positive affirmations, or visualize it, see it, and start working it. And you will find so many differences coming into your life. So, to quote that old Alka-Seltzer commercial, with affirmation and denials, try it. You'll like it. Try it. You'll like it. Thank you, and God bless.
So before we go into meditation, the spirit of Reverend Rick has hit me, and I want to tell a little story. I don't know if y'all remember when I first started coming here in like 2018, and my anxiety disorder was so bad that I was supposed to get up here and sing, and instead I ran out the building. Couldn't do it. Y'all were left without special praise. I apologize for that crime 5 years ago. But I kept seeing myself doing more and kept affirming that I could, and now I am here before you. And recently I've had this trouble of like, can I call myself a guitarist when I keep making mistakes and screwing up? Like, can I really say that? And I was watching someone online, they said, you're never going to be a guitarist unless you start saying, I am a guitarist. And if you can hold a guitar in your hand, you are a guitarist. So I started saying, I am a guitarist. And let me tell you, when I'm at home, I play so well. And eventually, those affirmations are going to catch up with my anxiety, and just you wait for that moment. So believe you can and walk the walk. Let me tell you, nothing helps more than getting in front of you and knowing that I have the responsibility to do it in front of people. So if you ever come across something where someone asks you to sing or something like that, and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should, I don't know if I'm ready, do it. It makes a difference. Do what you are scared of. Now let's go into meditation. I am set free, mind and spirit, when I really know God and I are one. I am set free, mind and spirit, when I really know God and I are one. There's another I am statement. I am set free, mind and spirit, when I really know God and I are one. I am set free, mind
Let's take a deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's take another deep breath in and slowly let it out. Let's close our eyes if we feel comfortable doing so. I want you to think about Eric Butterworth's, that piece of paper. In the first column, as it were, just take some issue that's eating your lunch. It's bugging you. Something that's holding you back from the peace that passes all understanding. Think about it. Feel it, even though it's an unpleasant feeling. If you're more visual, visualize it. And then in the second column, what is the positive solution? What is the positive outcome? What is the win-win situation? And then in the third and last column, what is the I am solution? What is the I am affirmation that encapsulates this? I am the way, the truth, and the light. I am one with the one. I am born blessed and remain blessed. I am in the peace that passes all understanding. I am the radiant light of God. And as we go into the silence, take that last column, that I am statement, along with you as we go on into that holy silence. Dear Spirit, thank you that the age of miracles is not past. Thank you that we are channels of your peace, of love and service in the world. And for this and so much more, we say thank you and amen and amen.
Light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well. The light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. And the presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is. Wherever I am, God is, and all is well.
Thank you, Ari and Bill. Well, as that great unity minister Jim Rosemergy, he even wrote a book by this title, Even Mystics Have to Pay Bills. So we come now to a time of tithes, gifts, offerings. I got to tell you, we are, small but mighty. We are blessed. We truly are blessed and grateful for so many people who have been supporting this ministry. Let's say that wonderful affirmation together. Unity in the Seven Hills is abundantly blessed. Creative people are drawn to us. Divine ideas flow through us. Financial resources bless us. And we accomplish mighty works together. And with this abundance, as I said, even in the pandemic, this community never stopped tithing, never stopped giving. We support Unity institutions such as Unity Worldwide Ministries, Silent Unity, that great 24/7 Power of Prayer, Beacon. So many local, we just delivered a check to Humankind, to wonderful organizations within our community that are really doing God's work. We've also, are now supporting the building of the kiosk that is over, the refrigerator and the dry goods pantry. So many wonderful things are done with this. Folks online, yes, we love your contributions as well. There are 4 ways of giving. You can give through Zelle, which I have found Zelle to work. No infomercial, and I have no connection with Zelle, but I have found Zelle works very well. Checks, cash, PayPal through the Giving Fund. But we would suggest when giving by PayPal, please either click the giving link on your website or our web address, unityinthesevenhills.org. That's all one word, unityinthesevenhills.org. Or if you're on YouTube, you can click below so that we get, as it were, the whole amount. And might I say, snail mail does work. It works a little slower than it has in the past, but it still truly works. And our greeters are going to have us come down row by row. I know many of you don't give weekly, you give monthly or whatever, give online. Doesn't matter. Come on down. Your positive vibes mean so much to us. Then standing before and thinking about that great unity candle of one presence, one power. Then we would ask very strongly, take an affirmation. I have found so often, like the I Ching, so often these affirmations really are hit the spot and just, was just the divine touch that I needed. So now, I think we're coming to my favorite song in the whole shebang. Here we go.
All right, let's stand up. Something wonderful is happening to me right heal right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no it won't let go. All this love we have inside, we can let it shine out. Yes, we can. Something wonderful. We're gonna go a second time. Got a big group today. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine. Something wonderful is happening to me right here, right now. I can feel it in my body, I can feel it in my soul, I can feel it in my heart, and it won't let go, no it won't let go. All this love inside, we can let it shine out. Something wonderful. All right. And now let's bless our gifts all together. Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. United in mind, body, and spirit, I dedicate these gifts as they grow to bless our community, our neighborhood, and our world. Well, thank you for joining us today. For a schedule of our events and classes, go to unityinthesevenhills.org. Copies of the calendar and newsletter are in the back. Here is what's happening soon. One-to-Oneness, the Bhagavad Gita, meets Thursdays at 7 following meditation. Meditation at 6. Class is hybrid, so come in person or join via Zoom. 2 new classes will be starting soon. Reverend Rick will be leading a new class on metaphysical interpretation, what it is and how to do it. And Pamela Smith will be leading a follow-up class to Angels 101, aptly named Angels 102. Class that was recently completed. Details for both classes will be available soon. In the meantime, come join us at Monday Yoga, Thursday Meditation, and again, One-to-Oneness. Come to Miller Park for our local Juneteenth celebration. The fun starts at 10 a.m. Yeah? The fun starts at 10 a.m. next Saturday, although there's a lot of events. If you check our Facebook, I shared some of the events going on all week long. There's a ton of stuff. Next Saturday, 17th of June, and goes until 2 p.m. We are asking for volunteers for a booth, so if you're interested, contact the office or speak to Robin in the back there. We need face painters. All right. We recently saw an uptick in YouTube subscribers. We may still be small in YouTube figures. Yeah, but for a size community we have here in Lynchburg, surrounded by one of the biggest Baptist enterprises in the U.S., you are all incredibly appreciated. We have had some of our best numbers on social media in the past few months, new subscribers, new members here in person, and our first wedding since the pandemic started. All our love for everyone we are blessed to be surrounded by, even virtually. All right. Before I get to the pantry, did you want to? All right, let's hear from the youth.
Just did some awesome yarn crafts today. and played with some blocks. Even our littlest participated in the craft. And here's Carly's craft. And Teresa already held hers up, but can you hold it up one more time?
All right, thank you. Okay, today, after service, will be the grand opening of our improved food pantry, also our grand stocking of the pantry. Service is the ultimate act of love. Thank you to everyone for making this service possible. So right after service, we'll go outside, have our dedication, and then we will break for coffee. We want to get that dedicated first. So there's going to be someone available until 2 p.m., at least myself, to take donations. So if you need to run out and get something, if you want to donate, you have a little bit of time. Yeah. Patience. Meditate more. So now I would like to introduce the people who helped make this possible. Lynchburg Food Not Bombs. Do y'all want to come say something?
Good morning, everybody. I'm Raya, and this is Jingle, and we are Lynchburg Food Not Bombs. How many of you have heard of us? Awesome. So we are a mutual aid group, and we meet twice a week at Miller Park, and we give out everything for free groceries, meals, clothes, hygiene products, harm reduction items, anything. And it's really give what you can, take what you need. And we have our 2 fridges, and thank you so much to everyone that's helped us with the fridge, Bonnie, Ari, everybody. We really appreciate it. This wouldn't have happened without y'all. But yeah, we are always looking for donations for the fridge, and it would really help. You know, it's open 24 hours, 7 days a week. Anyone can donate, anyone can give. And Jingle will tell you a little bit more about it.
Yeah, we just asked that if you were going to donate any home-cooked meals, that you just list the ingredients on there, just so people who have allergies can be very wary of that, as well as make the date when you made the food on that location too. That would be lovely. Thank you so much.
Afterwards, to
Jim. Oh, he's okay. So again, for those at home, we will be here until at least 2 p.m. taking donations. So if anyone watching from home is local, please come out and donate. Help us out. And before we get on, I'll add in my my non-binary dad joke of the day. There's one thing you can say about the fridge. It's really cool. Okay. Your prayer chaplain today is, who do we have? Sally. Sally's your prayer chaplain in case you need anything prayed for. If you're watching from home, like, comment, subscribe, and click that bell icon for notifications. If you don't know what to comment, let us know what you're denying has power over you and what you're affirming you have power in. Let us know. And click the bell icon for notifications. That's the easiest way to access our live streams. And now, before we go outside, let's end with the peace song. Peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Yes, there is peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator glory. Yes, we walk with each other in perfect harmony. Yes, peace begins with me. Yes, this is the moment now. With every step I take, yes, this is my joyous vow. To take each moment and live each moment in peace eternally. Yes, there is peace on earth, and yes, it begins with me. Thank you, everyone. Have a beautiful day. And for those here, please join us outside for the dedication.